Good morning. My name is Violeta Alvarez. I come from Venezuela. It's very humbling to be standing here in front of all of you with so much heritage in the sailing world and after my previous speakers. So thank you for the opportunity. Kim, John, Ossie, and Sampa. I started sailing 6 meters in 2016. I had never really come across classic boats. And I went to Brunnen for the first time and sailed Erika, which is a 1938 Nicholson boat. And after I started being in touch with the classics, I thought, well, this is a very impressive group of boats, group of people. And I asked Tim Street, who I'm sure you all know, to talk to me a little bit more about the classics, its history, etc. Of course, Tim wrote a wonderful book with Pella, and it is beautiful to see the history of all these boats. Subsequently, I went to Vancouver and sailed Mina, another classic, 1946 Nicholson boat. And in 2017, I went to Hamburg for the International 6-meter spring meeting. And there I said, well, where is the whole heritage of the 6 meters? Where are the plans? Where are the photos? Who has this central information? And what I discovered was that a lot of people have done a lot of research. There's fantastic historians who have dedicated hours on end to researching the boats, to classifying the boats, to analyzing pictures, etc. But that a lot of this was very much country-based, and a lot of it was in people's computers. And that the people who have the time and the inclination to research classic boats in the 6-meter were getting slightly older. And the technology was not being kept up to the changes in rapid access to information that had happened. Sorry. Sorry, I don't have a PowerPoint presentation. Yeah, thank you. Because I wanted to do it live with the website. But so that was the sort of information I had. And then I thought, well, it's a real shame, because if all these people slowly disappear, and all the boxes that they have in their houses, all their papers, all their books, slowly disappear because they get thrown away, their children don't preserve them, we're going to lose the heritage and the history. And then I thought, well, what if I started trying to do an archive which was online that everyone could access and everyone could preserve and add information? And so I thought, well, let me try to do that, except there was one problem. I didn't know much about 6 meters. I didn't know much about archiving, and I had very limited experience in the classic world. But I tried to find around me people who knew more than me and who could help me in conceptualize what I wanted to do. And one of which was Tim Russell, who's the secretary of the International 6-meter Fleet. Jenny, who's here, she's a historian and an archivist, and she's worked extensively in museums, naval museums, and in Cornwall in the UK, where I live in England. And we started talking to all these historians that had had a lot of time researching the world of the 6 meters. And so we thought that we weren't trying to write history, we were just trying to preserve the original sources of information that were out there in the world. And we focused on 3 elements which within this group of vast information, which is one, the boat profile. The second is pictures, documents, letters, any kind of information that relates to the 6 meter, and finally the race results. 6 meters are a fantastic group of boats that progressed the racing in the world quite dramatically. So if I can just show you a few things. The boat profiles, if I click here. So the website is not finalized because you never have a finished product, but I was very keen in launching the website so that more people could see it and more people could help us find the information that was out there. All of you probably know more about 6 meters than I do, and it's a great opportunity to be here to show you what we've done and what other information we can have. I want to show you a few examples. For example, this is Selene. We were given the information about this boat, and each boat has a file, and within that file we have fields. So you can put a little bit of the history of each boat. And then the approach was to have a number of fields for each boat. So the boat ID is based on a unique number. As you all know, boats change owners, they change sail numbers, they change names. And so it's very difficult to trace the history of any specific boat if you don't give it a unique number. And so we were very lucky that Basso Carmody gave us his research and his database, and we're very grateful to him. And the essence of this unique number was developed by him, and it has the first 4 numbers is the year in which it was built. The second is the country where it was built, and then it's a sequential number of the number of boats of that year in that country. And each boat has many names, as you can see here. So we've tried as much as possible to add the numbers that we're aware of and the year when it was changed. Then we had, of course, the year of build, the country, which sales numbers. Lots of boats change sales numbers, sometimes when they change owners, sometimes when they change countries. The designer, the builder, etc. And what's interesting is that we've tried to do as much cross-referencing as possible. So if you click on the designer, you'll have all the boats that designer somehow is linked to. And then also what we've done is try to scan and add as many articles that mention that boat and as many pictures of which that boat is we have of. So what I want to say is that this is really very much a collaborative effort. History is made every day, and more regattas are races, events are organized, and the only way to capture all this and preserve it for the future is if everyone can add information, correct mistakes. And the reason why I think a website is so powerful, last night Jenny was telling me, well, I've just spotted a mistake talking about it, and this morning it's already corrected. So it's a very active and lively web page that can link different aspects of the archive. This picture is, I think, lovely, which is, it was being towed from Germany to where? Yeah. To Switzerland, and I think it's a lovely picture. But in any case, each picture has also a unique archive number, and it has to do with the person who's donated it. In this case, it's Tabanicus. And number 1 relates to a picture, and number 9 is the 9th picture that we received relating. So the other thing I wanted to show you, for example, given that we have Pella here, is we have the list of his 6 meters that he has designed, and each one of these boats, then you can click on them, and they have their own file with their names and the year of build, and then documents who are related to that boat. Sorry, I have to put my glasses on. Then we thought that when I was coming here to sail in Hanko, the latest boat that I've been sailing is Stella, which is a 2017 Huanca modern 6 meter. And I was competing in the World Championships here in Hanko. As part of the information pack they sent us was the exhibition that was going to be in Hanko. And it occurred to us that these exhibitions, once they're taken down, they're being lost. And it would be a nice thing if the website also had information about specific exhibitions that are being presented. And so this is the whole exhibition's contents that has been here preserved for generations and people to come. So rather than losing that effort of the Hanko organizers of the World Championship is here to stay. We also have race results. So if I go back to the original web page, so I've been talking about the boat profiles. And then if I talk about race results, we have started inputting race results of European Championships, World Championships, Olympic Games, and of course we still need to input a lot of the national championships and races. But if you click in any of these links, you will find the results for that specific race. And then, of course, if these are the 5 competitors, you also have the 5 boats underneath. So if you're researching, the race, you then click and you can go into the specific profile. So, for example, here you have the World Championship results of the classic fleet, taken from the website of the organizers in Hanko. So I guess this website is an effort to have a centralized place where history can be preserved for the 6 meter fleet in a systematic way with an approach from a museum type context. And this is where Jenny has been absolutely instrumental in helping me put this all together. And Tim Russell as well has been very, very helpful in conceptualizing it within the 6 meter organization, the International 6 meter organization. So I think this is the essence of the website and the work that I've been doing with Jenny and Tim. One of the very interesting things thus far is how much usage the website has had. And since it's launched in August, we've had 1,651 users. And out of those, they come back. So there's 2,400 sessions, so people come back. And they view 11 pages, which is a very high statistic for websites. It seems people are interested in the website and they find it useful and they're looking for their own boats or if you're doing some research. And the other statistic, which is quite interesting, is that people spend an average of 6 minutes on this website. And I find that astonishing. Especially, we all lead such busy lives that we're always, spending 30 seconds, if that, in a website or in a news article. We tend not to read or finish reading the article, especially my generation, who's very impatient. So I think that people are staying on average 6.5 minutes in the sessions. It's quite encouraging, I think. The other statistics, which I find very interesting, is the location. We've had 65 locations thus far. Of course, some of that is people who jump in and out. But if you take into account the ones that are bouncing back, that just stay in and out, the ones that do stay is 51 countries. And you can see it's from all over the world. It's really astonishing to think that so many people around the world are interested in 6 meters and in the archive. The other thing is, I come from Venezuela, I live in the UK, and I sail in Spain, and I found that it's very country-specific, the networks of 6 meters around the world, and that we come together for the World and the European Championships, and that's about it. And so I was trying to make an effort to joint efforts, so this was not a nationalist-specific website, but that it could aggregate and put together more than one country. And I think it shows that people all over the world are interested in this. I was very interested to hear that more 6 meters are coming from the Middle East, and it's wonderful to see that there's more interest from places where 6 meters were not sailed before. I think this is what I would like to say now. They told me to be relatively brief, and I think this is more about in an interactive session, and more questions perhaps would be interesting in trying to find a specific boats or a specific information that you're interested in, or anything else really.
Thank you. So thank you very, very, very much. That is a huge project. But unfortunately for you, it's only the start.
I know.
So I've just after breakfast, I figured out what next. Of course, all the 6 meter sailors need to chip in and help and make this work, and then we'll do the full riddle. So we've got the 4 meters, the 5, the 5 5s, we've skipped the 6, we do the 7, the 8, the 9, the 10, the 12, the 15, 19, and the 23 meters. So you're off the streets for a while. But to make that, if you're, I know you're interested, so I can just, how does this work? If anybody of us has information, can we log in and actually do the work ourselves, or does it need to run through you? If I have a regatta result or a picture of a boat that I would like to add, is that an easy thing for us to do?
This was a very big debate that we had when we were trying to figure out the website, and we discussed back and forth the pros and cons of having a website where you could upload every information and edit a little bit like Wikipedia does, and what were the pros and cons of that versus having a managed website where you have to send us the information. And the challenges we came up with was that several ones. First, we wanted a high quality resolution. So if you receive an email with information, you can ask the sender either to rescan it or improve the resolution, etc. So because we want to keep the standard and the quality of the images and documents quite high. But the second reason why it was difficult to open it was because of copyrights. And this is something that has become much more prevalent, certainly in Europe. The right of, copyright and privacy law. The right of the picture, of the owner of the picture, or the owner of the document. How do you incorporate that without having the copyright? And it would be very dangerous if someone uploaded a document for which they didn't have the copyrights, and we put it on the website and then it gets published or printed. And how does that make us very vulnerable from a legal standpoint? And the second thing, which we have to be extremely careful, is people's privacy. If someone says, well, this is owned by such and such person, we can get into very big problems because that person might want to, stay anonymous. And so we, at the end, decided, mostly for legal reasons, to have a controlled environment where the information is sent to Jenny and she uploads it. And that's one of the biggest challenges we have, is time and capacity, really. And the other thing is we have information that has been sent to us that we can't quite upload because we haven't received the copyrights clearance to upload it. And so it's, we try as much as possible when we receive information to send a form back to ask for the liberation of the copyrights. But then some people don't have it themselves. It's a picture taken by someone else. So it's only been 6 months since we launched the website. Well, probably 7 now. But it's a learning process. It's has legal difficulties of copyright and data privacy. So that's a long-winded answer.
I can steal one more question. Eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, good. So what would you like from us? What can we do to help you?
Well, I think, first of all, being aware, using it. For me, is very satisfactory to see that people are using it, that our effort is being useful to other people. The second is, by using it, if you see any mistakes, any errors, any additional information that you want to put. So I'm just going to give you, well, you saw the page with boats pictures missing. If you have that, just send it to us. It would be wonderful to incorporate them. If you have information of boats that we don't have, we have at the moment 1,261 boats, but someone was asking me, well, how many sixes were built? No one really knows. That's the honest answer. I mean, this is the best guesstimate of boats that have existed, but we don't know. The other thing is using it and coming up with ideas of what other elements we could add to the website and spread the word, really.
All right. Well, thank you very much. And then for us, it's get to work.
Thank you. Thank you. There's some chocolate for you. Thank you.
Sorry, can I just say one more thing? I'd like to say that the information here has been the collaborative effort for many, many people around the world. There's too many to name, but lots of people who are very knowledgeable and have been very generous with their information has given it to us. So this is really a channel, and I want to thank them all for their generosity in making this possible.
Thank you one more time.